So, as your teacher, I can review our digital discussions. The first thing I want to do is make sure that everyone is participating. I can do this by sorting our comments. When I sort our comments, I see the list of all of the comments everyone has made. I'm going to scroll to the bottom to see the totals. Now, I do this because I can see who has commented and how many times. While this is not a contest, good discussion does depend on participation. And so I know that I need to encourage Turtle to get a little more involved. Now, by doing this, I also can see everyone's comments in isolation, which means I'm viewing what everyone is saying separate from whom they're replying to. And take a look here at Annabeth C. Annabeth writes, "Good question. Why don't you look it up?" I have no idea what question she's referring to, so I want to tell her that I'd like her to be more explicit. I'm going to reply to Annabeth. She says, "Good question. What do you mean by why don't you look it up? What is it, that you are recommending to be looked up?" And this way, I want to reply to Annabeth and ask her to be much more explicit. Another thing I look for in comments is the appropriateness of everything we put into print. Remember that we are leaving that lasting impression. So as I go back here to Annabeth, she's written, "Ha ha." Now, I could take that to mean that she's being fun, or I could take that to mean that maybe she's making fun of the person that she's commenting in. And so it really doesn't have a place. I could ask her, "What do you mean?" Or I could just point out to her to remember that that is not something that belongs in an intelligent academic discussion. Here I'm looking at some of the comments from Sandy M. I am wondering that too. So again, I need to ask Sandy to be more explicit and specific. I notice that Sandy's using pronouns. When you use pronouns like it, your comment is very vague. What do you mean here? We always want to encourage each other to be very clear and very specific. One thing you can do to support your thinking is definitely refer to evidence in the text. Here Sandy M has noticed kilowatt hours, and it appears that Sandy needs to get more information to help him process. So I'm going to reply to Sandy. I really appreciate that Sandy looked these up. I'd like to remind Sandy to let us know where this information came from. And so I'll reply to Sandy. Here Calvin O makes a comment. You can't make energy, nor can you destroy it. You can only convert it. Now, when I click on his comment, I notice that he's referring to this photo. So, I believe Calvin's making a claim, but I'd like for him to support his claim with some evidence. So I'm going to ask him about it. It's always important that we support our claims with evidence. Now I want to go back and look at the quality of the discussion. I'm looking at what's being commented on here. When I click on it, it jumps to this paragraph. So I know the discussion is centering around this particular part. I noticed that these students pointed out this particular sentence, sentence 2. But you may not know that with this simple act, you're sending information to possibly hundreds of machines located possibly thousands of miles from where you sit. Vi says that's why the internet takes a while, because whatever we type in, it has to be sent to many machines. But I'm wondering why it has to go through so many. And Annabeth comments, and a lot of people use it, and probably it has so many machines to get the results. Then she also says, now we know why it takes so long to get results. We shouldn't get mad at how long the results take. Even though it was only Annabeth commenting on everything that Vi said, I like how Annabeth was building upon Vi's comment.